Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing very well today. I woke up a little late and I have to get to work pretty soon, but I wanted to try and make a video before I did. Um, it, it's a weird, it's a weird mood today. I guess melancholic is the best way to put it. Just, I know, it's August, so autumn is on the way, and the last few evenings have been very cold. Not very cold, but they've been cold enough that, like, I'm not burning while sitting in my room with the window open. Because every now and then there's a breeze, maybe even some deluge. Um, but it's still very hot outside, and it's still not autumn quite yet. I'm having dreams about trees turning orange and red and yellow, and hay fields and pumpkins and wearing hoodies and sweaters and things and long sleeves. And last time that this happened, I was with my with a partner who's my ex now. We're still friends and see each other. We've only been exes for a couple months, but it's I don't know. It's hard. Sorry. Also, I realized that my stomach growls, and I didn't notice it for a bit. So maybe I just have it on my chest now. Maybe that'll help. But anyway, that was a loud one. The it it's weird because I've loved autumn since I was a kid, and she actually really didn't like autumn like at all. Um, and yet autumn, even though we only had two autumns together, they are still so heavily tied with her, and I don't really want to talk about that necessarily as much as I want to talk about in general kind of just happiness in life. And I want to make it very brief, if that's possible for me. But like while we were here, like living life, there's so much that is just not like up to us, right? Yeah. There we go. Like there's so much that's up to chance and just randomness. Like where we're born, who we're born around and with, where we go, like I don't know. And happiness, I feel like shouldn't be something that is random. Which I think more or less a lot of people, including me, although hopefully not as much recently, a lot of people kind of feel like that's just what it is. Like when good things happen, we're happy, and that's true. Like it's like when it's wow, sorry. Like when it's crisp outside and I can see leaves falling from the trees and I can put on a hoodie and be outside and not melt, like that makes it really easy to be happy. Or like when it rains, like the one time a year it actually rains around here, like those are good. They make me happy. And even if I'm having a particularly bad day, like if those things are going on, then I'm like, well, then it's really easy to be happy. But it's not a good life to live when there's prerequisites to be happy and you kind of are just waiting around for those prerequisites. And I'm not saying that when they're not happening you're miserable, right? Like that's when you have like depression, or which I guess I don't know, being bipolar and having anxiety and depression makes all this kind of a weird thing to talk about in this regard, I guess. But anyway, I don't want to derail this too much. But in any case, I think that usually when those things aren't happening, it's just kind of default people are like normal. And I think normal is, there's sadness in it. and disappointment. But also, it's not like so much that you can't bear it. It's just kind of like meh. And maybe that's just me. I don't know, but I know that I think it's pretty normal at least that if you're not happy and you're not sad, your neutral mood is kind of like I'm open to being happy, but right now I just feel kind of like bleh, like unmotivated and like put down kind of. And that's not a very nice way to be. And all these lines of thoughts bring me to actually a quote from Death Stranding, which is, tomorrow is in your hands. Um, which I think it can be interpreted a lot of ways, but the way I like to interpret it is like you you always have a say in what you're feeling and doing. Like the way I had to explain it, I work at an Asian market, and I had that written down on a piece of stray paper and just had it like at the counter where customers could like read and see it because I know that was my small way in contributing to the society. But when the person that was coming to take my shift over came, he came behind the counter and he's Japanese, like was born and raised there and has only been living in America for a couple years now, I think, and so he knows English like fluently, but it's you have to talk kind of slowly and use very like straightforward like sentences and stuff. So like he has a grasp on English, but he's not like finessing it, I guess. I don't know. So he read the paper and he sounded it out and read it. And he was like, what does that mean? And so I was kind of like, well, it's like it means like you always have kind of a choice. And I didn't really know this until I said it because I'd never had to explain what that quote really meant to me out loud until he asked me about it. But I was like, well, yeah, like, tomorrow's in your hands. Like, even if you feel like today was a wash, you can always like stand back up and try again the next day. And like you, like your life is in your control, pretty much. Like you don't just have to be kind of a vessel that's being thrown around life. You have a say in it. You just have to learn like how to take the reins, I guess. And he was just kind of like, oh, okay, and then like he threw it away. But I think that's true. I think that to some degree, not all the time. Like we're I've been studying a lot of Stoicism, and I actually just read a book called How to Grieve. Um, and while I think it's a really valuable thoughts, some really valuable thoughts from that book came out, and I think that Stoicism has a lot of really good stuff. I don't necessarily agree to the full extent that like if someone dies we just shouldn't feel it, or like if life is overwhelming and stressful we should just be able to like ignore it and keep moving, which I know isn't exactly what Stoicism is, but I think sometimes it's valuable to be overwhelmed and to be frustrated and to get upset, get angry. um I think you just need to be able to do that to an extent where you don't lose control. And maybe that's what Stoicism is, and I just am misunderstanding it. But I think, and then after you do that, I think it's important to be able to be like, this situation or instance, even if it's been the last hour or the last month or year, like, it doesn't, the situation doesn't define me or my life. Like, I have what it takes to change this situation into something good that I want to be a part of. And or like to just completely get rid of it so that it's not a part of it. Like speaking, having brought up about like stuff like bipolar, that's not really something you can get rid of, I guess. And for a lot of my time having it, I've kind of felt like I'm just someone who's bipolar, and no matter what I want to do or achieve, like this problem will always hold me back. And after therapy and a lot of meds that didn't work, I'm kind of like, I think like that there's like, to make the point, like that's kind of where I'm at with it now. I'm like, yes, I have bipolar and like all these other things, but also like even if there's a day where it's so bad like I can barely get out of bed, like eventually I do get out of bed. And eventually like I do make something to eat, even if it's just dry ramen out of the package, or like I still like go to work on days where I feel like that. I still like keep up on my bills and I keep up on rent. Like it's it makes things more difficult, but it's still something that can like be overcome and be overcame. I don't know. And I think that's true for almost every instance ever, where we have it in us to kind of move forward and choose happiness. And even if even if for that instance choosing happiness isn't just all of a sudden like it's sunny skies and birds are singing, maybe choosing happiness is just saying today I'm going to put pants on, and that's the most I can expect for myself today. But then you do it and you're like, all right, like, or maybe even it's days where you like can't get out of bed and you're so like tired and depressed and just hopeless about life, and maybe in those instances hope or happiness can be, well, I'm still here and I'll be here tomorrow, and happiness is just that hope that tomorrow will be better than today. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say about that. I just wanted to make it really quick, and I hope everybody's having an excellent day. We're so close to autumn, and I have some videos I'm really excited to make. I know nobody's like watching these, and I'm not salty about that in the slightest. I'm doing this because I think it's a blast. So I hope somebody does watch the ones I'm going to be making, because I'm really excited to make them, and I think they're exactly the kinds of